Welcome to MMA Dogs. My name is Hector, and as always, I want to thank you for tuning in. A very special thank you to our clients. And we got UFC Fight Night 64. That is the next event, and I am very excited for this particular card. You know, first watching or looking at the matchups, I wasn't very impressed. I wasn't very excited for it. But as I started breaking down the fighters and as I started watching the fight footage and really breaking these fighters down, I found a couple of real gems. I found a couple of fighters to look forward to. I found about 5 fighters that are worthy of betting on. And yeah, so I'm very excited for this particular card after all, and I'm looking forward to breaking down the fights. Now, before I get into the bets and all that fun stuff, you always want to make sure that you never bet more than you can afford to lose. So you always want to be real careful. You know, you want to go into any wagering or any investment having research as much as possible, being as prepared as possible, having put in the work. You know, I have a ton of notebooks, notes on the computer, on the old school, also notepad. I mean, just everywhere. So you want to be as prepared as possible, but you always want to be realistic. So you always want to prepare for the worst. You know, just in case it's a bad night. So never bet more than you can afford to lose. And then the second thing is much respect to all the men and women who stepped into the octagon. And the third thing is you always want to check your local laws and government. So Vegas or certain cities and countries where you can bet freely. Just want to be real careful with that. And before I go into it, you know, I've really been putting in the work and staying real disciplined with sensible betting. You know, I look at a lot of these Capper Tech. We've been using Capper Tech. We've always been using a third party, but now that I'm taking it even one step further, using Capper Tech has been great. And I see some of these bets on Capper Tech, and it's like 10 units and 8 units, and just on one play alone. And so the reason I say that is because in the last 5 events, my bets have been up 31.23 units, so over 31 units won, 31.23 to be exact, and all with sensible betting, so nothing crazy, nothing goofy. So I'm very happy about that. Just want to keep things going, and let's go ahead and dive right into the first fight. So we have Taylor Lapillus versus Rocky Lee, so a pair of featherweights here in this matchup. And for this matchup, I believe that Lee is going to want to take the fight to the ground, and Lapillus is going to want to keep the fight standing. And watching both these guys fight, you know, I'm not impressed. I don't see either guy as a big prospect, and I don't see either guy as a betting opportunity in this particular card. So for this one, I'd rather wait and see. I do believe that Rocky Lee will be able to get at least 2 of the rounds, and if he doesn't, he'll probably get finished by knockout. So Rocky Lee by decision. If I had to bet, it would be on Rocky Lee, especially with the odds the way they are right now. But I'm not interested in betting this fight. Rocky Lee by decision is my pick, but I will have nothing on it, nothing at all. No units on that one. Marcin Bandel versus Stevie Ray. Now Stevie Ray comes with a little bit of hype behind him, and I'm excited to see what he can do in the UFC. Marcin Bandel, I'm not impressed with him at all. I'm looking forward to seeing Stevie Ray, though. I think in this fight, Stevie Ray can keep the fight standing and can land some good shots. So I'm actually going to side with the striker here with Stevie Ray. I'll say for this one, Ray could possibly finish, but possibly a knockout in round 2. But I'll say decision, Stevie Ray. If I had to bet it, it would be on Ray. I'm not going to bet it. But Stevie Ray by decision. Now the next fight is very interesting, very very intriguing fight. First, right off the bat, both girls are cutting weight, so they're cutting all the way down to 115 from 135. That's a big cut. That is a huge cut. Alexandra Albu did the cut correctly. Izabela Badurek did not, and I intend on cashing on hard work, on preparation, and I like Alexandra Albu here to win by knockout in round 1, and for sure by round 2, and Izabela Badurek to do her weight cut properly. You know, some fighters will never do their weight cut properly, but she really needs to do it the right way. And as far as skills go, it was already in my opinion, Albu already had the upper hand on the skills, and Izabela I can't be excited about her watching her fights. Very one-sided, very uneven matchups. And with Alexandra, I think we're in for a real surprise with her. And obviously the line has dropped, and it continues to drop. And I won't be surprised if it hits 300 by the time the fight starts. So Alexandra Albu, and also I have been sending my bets over to my dog, and he's been sending them out to everybody. So as soon as I come up with a bet, as soon as I come up with a play, I send it out to him, and he sends it out to their clients immediately, and then also put on Cap Protect. So for the next one, Daniel O against Anthony Hamilton. This is a very interesting matchup. I've bet on Daniel O before, and I was a little disappointed with what I saw from him when I bet on him. But I think he'll continue to improve, and him being at home, I think this will be the first Polish victory that we'll have, and I think Daniel O will win this fight. I firmly believe that Daniel O will finish the fight, and I'm not crazy about it or anything like that. So I'm going to say do not bet. If I had to bet, it would definitely be Daniel O. As far as how I see him winning the fight, I think he can get a submission on Hamilton. Hamilton's submission defense is terrible. I think he can land a striking. I think he can win the fight via strikes. Anthony Hamilton's striking defense is not good. But these guys are heavyweights, so I have that respect for them both, that they can land a punch at any time. So I'm not crazy about it. I threw him in a couple of I threw Daniel O in a couple of Hail Mary, because you can call it Hail Mary parlay, because at minus 150, it's right on the borderline. But as far as a bet, do not bet. I don't a serious bet anyways, do not bet. And for the like I said, for the pick, Daniel O by I'll say by knockout. I think he'll get the knockout in round 1. If I had to bet it, it would be Daniel O. And that does it for that fight. For the next one, I think the Polish momentum will keep going. Damian Stasiak versus Yalcin Meza. Meza, we've seen him fight in the UFC before, and nothing spectacular or amazing. With Damian, I think Damian has more of the type of game to where he can end a fight, to where he can finish the fight. And I think that's what I'll be looking for, a finish. I think he can submit Meza in round 2, and that'll be that. Now, as far as a bet goes, I'm not going to bet it. If I had to bet it, it would be Damian Stasiak, but do not bet. Whoo-wee! Sergio Moraes finally makes his return to the UFC against Michael Lebut, making his debut on short notice. And my goodness, I did my research on Michael Lebut, and I am not impressed with this guy. I'm not impressed with this Frenchman at all. With Sergio Moraes, I am nothing but impressed with him. This line should be closer to minus, I would say, 700, 650, 750. But I love Sergio Moraes here by submission in round 1. I think he gets the fight to the ground. I think even on the feet, Sergio has the advantage. I think Sergio is taking this fight very seriously. His weight's on point. His whole overall game is just on a different level. I really like Sergio here. He'll be a 4-star pick. And in round 1, if this leaves round 1, I won't be disappointed. If it leaves round 2, I'll be disappointed. This fight will be over in round 1 or round 2, and Sergio will have his hand raised. For the next one, Garreth McLellan versus Bartosz Fabinski. Very even matchup here. This one I've been going back and forth on. Ultimately, I'm going to go with Garreth McLellan. A lot of people, I hear a lot of the MMA chatter talking about Garreth McLellan and the Juan Potts and how South Africa's got nothing, blah blah blah. But Garreth McLellan is not Juan Potts in my opinion, and I think McLellan will win this by using his wrestling, getting the fight to the ground, possibly getting a submission. But I think it'll go to decision. So decision for McLellan. I'm not super confident in it or anything like that, which is why I don't advise a bet. I don't, I'm not saying to go out there and bet him, but I think he will win. Do not bet. If I had to bet it, it would be McLellan. Seth Baczynski versus Leon Edwards. This is one of the first. I think this is the first one. I believe this is the first pick and bet I gave out. Yeah, gave it out on April 7th. So I like Leon Edwards here. I think Leon Edwards' time spent at AKA will be good for him. Training with Luke Rockhold and Khabib Nurmagomedov. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Rockhold at 85, Nurmagomedov at 55, and Edwards at 70. That's a great move by Leon Edwards. I think we didn't see his full potential when he fought Silva in Brazil, and I really like Edwards in this matchup. The reason I like him so much is because Edwards' striking is accurate, it's powerful, and his chin has held up. Seth Baczynski striking is accurate, not as much power, but a little power, and his footwork is very impressive. But his striking defense is terrible, and he gets hit so much that he goes out. So his chin's not as good as Edwards, and I believe the UFC likes Baczynski because he puts on really exciting fights. The fans like Baczynski, but I like Leon Edwards in this fight, and I predict Leon Edwards will get a knockout in round 1, but possibly a decision, a 29-28 decision. But we shall see here. I'll definitely have my money on Edwards, and that'll be the betting pick. Joanne Calderwood versus Maryna Moroz. Do not bet. A lot of people are very excited for Joanne Calderwood. I am not one of those people. I'm not excited for her. I'm excited for Joanna, but not excited for Joanna Calderwood. We'll see what she can do here. I think she'll get a decision. I think she'll win a decision, but that's it. So do not bet. And since I'm not going to have money on it, and the odds are getting crazy, like when Wineland fought Johnny Eduardo or that type of thing, do not bet. I do not want to bet this fight whatsoever. I advise not betting it. And I'll be rooting for Maryna Moroz. Of course, the smart pick is Joanne Calderwood by decision. I think on the feet, Joanna will dot her up. But I think we'll see an improved stand-up game for Moroz. On the ground, it should be pretty even. But I think this fight will stay on the ground. I think we'll see an improved Moroz. But who knows? At that price, so I'm not interested in betting Calderwood. Do not bet. If I had to bet it, I would put a little something on Maryna. Sprinkle a little something on her as Gil Alexander and those guys, those football guys I love listening to, like to say. Sprinkle a little something on Moroz. I think it's I think it's the Greek guy. But anyways, do not bet. All right, let's move on to the last 3. So we got the last 3 coming up here. Pawel Pawlak. When I first saw that name, I thought, this guy, I think he's good. I believe he's good. And I watched his fights, and man, I am not impressed. Sheldon Westcott, on the other hand, I thought, he's not so good. And then I watched his fights, and he's decent. And but what I like about Westcott is he's a smart guy. He's improved. We'll see an improved Westcott. I still think he'll get the finish, but I think we'll see him be smarter in the octagon, and just I think we'll see an improved Westcott. Even if he's not improved, and it's the same Pawlak that we've seen and the same Westcott that we've seen, I still think Westcott gets him. I think he gets him in round 1, possibly round 2. But Westcott by TKO or submission, definitely the finish in the first or second round. And I'm excited to see him perform because I will have money riding on him. So Westcott for the bet and the pick. Jan Blachowicz versus Jimi Manuwa. Oh man, this is a very good matchup. Jan Blachowicz has cost me. He cost me big against Latifi. That's the only 5-star loss I've had. And so with this, I've been very careful with this guy. In this particular matchup, though, it's a striker versus a striker. John might be a little bit more well-rounded, but the striking edge I give to Jimmy big time. And I'm going to keep watching this price. Let me see where it's at right now. Right now, it is at Jimmy. Saw him at 135 earlier, minus 140. Yeah, minus 140 around all the big books. Dimes, Bookmaker. Bovada's got him on there. Pinnacle. So, I would love to get a little bit of a closer line. Like if Jimmy felt at minus 120, whoo-wee. I took him at minus 155 because that, in my opinion, that price is fair enough. But I'd like to get a better one. Jimmy Small, I'm not superly crazy or eager to bet this one, but I do have enough faith in Jimmy's game, Jimmy's skill, that he will win this fight. So I will be betting it, and I already gave it out as a bet. And I think Jimmy can overpower him. Jan's a bit slow. He moves slow. Jimmy's all fast twitch, all power. So I like Jimmy to win this fight. I like him enough for a bet, and I think he can get him in round 1, knockout, round 2, knockout. Jimmy for the win. Gabe Gonzaga versus Mirko Krakow. Oh, this is interesting. As a fan, this is the way I see it. We know we're gonna get a ton of fights, which is great. I love it, and so why not have some fun fights? This isn't gonna be to see who fights Kane and Verdum next, but who cares? We gotta have some fun fights. Mirko's heart is in it. You can tell he wants to win this fight, and he's got a bone to pick with Gonzaga. If Gonzaga gets it to the mat, Gonzaga should be able to get a Kimura, get a shoulder submission, some type of lock, or maybe even a head, some kind of a head choke, guillotine perhaps. But Mirko's not easy to take down, and if Mirko can survive or land early, he could possibly win this fight. So my pick is Mirko by knockout in round 2. And but if Gonzaga goes out there and knocks out Mirko, I won't be surprised one bit. So ultimately, do not bet. I think I saw inside the distance prop on Mirko plus 250, plus 260. So maybe a little sprinkle on that. But other than that, not a whole lot. I know what the guy's name is. The Greek Gambler. I think he calls himself the Greek Gambler. Who says sprinkle me, sprinkle a little something. And then Gil Alexander plays that Sprinkle Me Man track by E40. So, maybe a little sprinkle on Mirko at plus 250 inside the distance. But other than that, do not bet. Not even anything serious. But then again, it's kind of interesting because when you get two heavyweights like that, anything can happen. But Krakow's hasn't been facing good opposition. So, it's too risky. So, do not bet. Anyways, let's move on to the bets. Let's move on to the serious stuff here. The number one bet I gave out, like I said, was on April 7th. Leon Edwards at minus 105, 2.1 units to win 2. The second bet I gave out was on the same day at the same time. Jimi Manuwa at minus 155, Sergio Moraes when he was only minus 356. That gives us plus 111. So I got that for 1.90 units to win 2.11 units. That one was on the same day. PinnacleSports.com. The third one, also the same day. Sergio Moraes wins inside the distance, minus 125, only for 1 unit. Only for a unit for a couple of reasons. One, the limits, which if you're smart, the limits shouldn't bother you too much. And then, but you have to be careful with prop bets. You don't want to get too crazy and too greedy with them. The fourth one is a round robin of twos. The total bet is only half a unit. So the total bet is only half a unit. 3 parlays total at 0.17 units each. So the total bet is half a unit, 0.51 units. So a little over half a unit. 0.51 units to win 1.29 units. Leon Edwards at -110. Sergio Moraes inside the distance at -125. And Jimi Manuwa inside the distance at -107. That was at 5 dimes. Also on April 7th. The fifth bet is also a round robin, just like the first one. Round robin of twos, 3 parlays at 0.17 units each. Total bet is a little over half a unit, 0.51 units to win 3.73 units. Geez, so many numbers. For that one, it's Leon Edwards by decision. Leon Edwards by decision at +474. Sergio Moraes inside the distance at -125, and Jimi Manuwa inside the distance at -107. So that is that one. The odds on Leon Edwards are incredible by decision, which could very well happen. So I had to take a little something on that one. So moving on, Sheldon Westcott is a 6th bet. Sheldon Westcott and Alexandra Albu. Westcott at -200, Albu at -200. These came a little later. I basically spent the whole day today researching those two. I narrowed it down to those two and researched the heck out of them. So I have to back them 1.5 units to win 1.88 units. So Westcott and Albu at -200 each gives us +125. So 1.5 units to win 1.88 units. That was on 5 dimes on the 10th at 6 p.m. And all the next ones are also the same. Same time, same site. The 7th bet, Sheldon Westcott wins inside distance at +139, 1 unit to win 1.39. The 8th bet, Alexandra Albu wins inside the distance at +165, 1 unit to win 1.65 units. The 9th bet, Sheldon Westcott -200 and Sergio Moraes at -425. So the price went up, but I still think it's worth it. -117, so 1.5 units to win 1.28 units. The 10th bet, Alexandra Albu -200, 1 unit to win 1/2 unit. The 11th bet, Alexandra Albu at -210, Westcott inside the distance at +139, Moraes inside the distance at 136, +512, 1 unit to win 5.12 units. And the last bet is Albu wins inside the distance, Alexandra Albu that is, at +165, Westcott at -210, and Moraes wins inside the distance at -136. So Westcott just straight bet there on that one. So those three, +579, 1 unit to win 5.79 units. So there's a possibility that we win both those bets. And that would be very exciting. So the grand total is 14.02 units total on 12 bets. So it's about a unit a bet, really. So that's why I say it's sensible, because with MMA, it's not like other sports where you can bet it every single day. So if you bet, if I bet 14 units in a week, that's only 2 units per day. And that could be big money, that could be medium money, that could be small money, just depending on what your bankroll is. But either way, as long as you're winning, that's all that matters. So 14.02 units to win 27.62 units. About. The reason I say about that much to win is because if Leon Edwards wins by decision. Wait a minute. Never mind. I was going to say, if Leon Edwards wins by win straight, that's one of the bets, but then also I have him by decision. So I was looking at him inside the distance, but I ended up going with Leon Edwards straight and Leon Edwards by decision on those props. So yeah, so 27.62 units is definitely possible. That is definitely possible. So I am beyond excited for it, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in, for watching, and like I said, always bet, wager, invest responsibly. You want to go into it as informed as possible, and I'm very thankful for all of our clients. I am very excited for these fights, and yeah, I'm just I am beyond motivated, and just want to keep it going. You want to keep this thing rolling. So that does it for me. I'm ready to go to bed, and I hope you guys all have a great weekend. I will talk to you guys next week. We got UFC on Fox, Machida versus Rockhold. Oh, man, am I excited for that. I will have a possibly a 5-unit straight play. But I have to do a couple of last-minute preparations. I have to do a couple things and make sure that that is all good to go. So that being said, let's go ahead and have ourselves a great night. So I will talk to you guys all real soon. If you want to jump on the website, it's mmadawgs.com. You'll find a ton of good info on there. If you want to go on Twitter, jump on there, on Facebook, and I will talk to you guys real soon. Good night.